Welcome back, lads, to another Bannerlord map making episode. In the last one I showed you guys my new Icelandic style landscape that I've been working on. This is a control point map. For those less familiar with Bannerlord, that basically means two teams of 250 players each fight over a randomly assigned control point at the beginning of every round. I've got to say, it's really good fun. If you want to get involved, I personally play with a clan called Kingdom of Borderland, KOH. I'll leave a link to their Discord in the description below. So what I'm going to do in today's episode is just show you a couple of the changes that have happened since the last one. As always, I'd love to get your feedback, see what you guys think, so please do drop me a comment either here on the YouTube channel or on the Discord. And yeah, I read every single one, and many of the comments you guys have left so far have really helped shape the map into what it is today. So let's get stuck in. I'll show you what's changed. So coming round the right hand side of the castle, on the approach now, we've got a series of columns that have been raised to be a little bit higher up. In the last episode these are a little bit lower. Wanted to make it seem a bit more epic on the approach. We've also got some wooden panels inside of the archway, and we've also got some nice stone walls on the approach as well. I think to critique my own work, I'll probably add a bit more ruins coming down this road, just so on the approach it gives you a bit of a flavour on what you're about to expect when you go through these archways. From a gameplay perspective, a nice change has been made here. The central part of the archways has now been pulled out in both sides to create a bit more of a partition between the two paths. It doesn't really change too much, but it's very subtle. It just means that rather than one consistent flat entrance, there's a bit more of a divide between an attacking or defence here and an attack and defence here. On this side I've left in the archway that means Lord of the Rings style, you can jump out of here and get behind the attackers if you want to. Yeah, I just thought this might make it a bit more dynamic. On the side here, we've got a few more bits of rubble, a few more walls. I wanted to give the impression that this is a castle that maybe used to be in its heyday 100 years ago, but what we're looking at now is just the ruins of said castle. I think it looks quite cool with this rubble. It might change over time, but certainly I think the art style is definitely heading in the right direction. On the other side of the castle, you'll remember that this archway was a little bit lower down. Similar to the archway on the other side, players did have the ability to jump through here on the last iteration. For this one, I've actually blocked it off, so this is no longer something that can be accessed. It's too high, there's a wooden panel in the way. Yeah. Instead, on this side, we now have this staircase that helps players who are attacking to get up the stairs here and enter the castle through a different means. Really, it doesn't change the gameplay too much, but I just wanted to add a bit more variety so that the experience, whether you're attacking from the left or the right, is slightly different depending on where you come from. Moving into the castle, what used to be an open area, we've now added a fair bit of detail. There's some detail in the groundwork, we've got a few of these stone walls. The general idea here is that maybe you might be an archer, you might be popping off a few shots across here, you've got some troops defending the small choke points so that you can get as many shots off as you can before you need to retreat. It just gives it a bit more of a dynamic flavour, I guess. And as you go through this area, there's a few walls and things in the way, so as people are fighting, there's stuff to protect you from archer fire. There's partitions to help break up the fighting slightly, so it's not just going to break out into one big mass. Going up to the main tower, a bit more rubble happening around the sides. We've now got this nice doorway, which I think looks quite cool. Around this side as well, you'll probably remember from the last episode I mentioned that the hole in the side of the wall here, it'd be nice to have a staircase, so we've now added that. When you're attacking, you can now attack either through the main entrance, but you can also attack through the side entrance here. Again, it's just reinforcing that whole premise that we never want to create somewhere for the defenders where there's only one choke point. There should always be options for the attackers. Other than that, the castle pretty much remains unchanged. I just think it's been fleshed out. I think what you see here is it's starting to look like the final piece. I think beyond this, there might be some subtle changes, but it's unlikely to drastically change from this point forwards. I guess just before we end the episode, coming down the staircase into this area here, it's exactly the same. I've just added these stones into the ground to give it that slightly more ruinous feel. I thought these looked quite nice with the ruined statue going up the cliff top as well. Going over here, down the staircase, The staircase comes off at a slightly different angle compared to the last time you saw it. I didn't like how it kind of awkwardly went up against the fence before, so I've just rotated it slightly so it's a bit more obvious as you're coming up this pathway that it's an option to go up there as well as straight on. Behind us we've got this rock pool. I'm still deciding what to do with this, but the current idea is that rather than it being like a natural pool, I've turned it into something that looks a little bit more man-made. I thought maybe, you know, it's telling a story that the people from this village down here maybe come up here, use this as like a pool, and then head back down. TBC, watch this space. I think I'm still looking for some good ideas on this one, so if you've got one, let me know what you think. Other than that, I think the castle is more or less complete. I think it's starting to look pretty good. And yeah, there's some more updates that I've made to some other parts of the map as well, but I'll cover those in another episode. As always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.